and it is on par with Claude 4.5, I think, 4 or 4. That's not it. It is the cost is all sorry, maybe $3 to. Hello guys, how are you?
Good, good. Yeah, I know there was a lot of things going on this week. I was putting it in our Slack earlier.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. I actually, yeah, that's 'cause I was like playing around with thing Claude earlier, and then I think I was using it for some researching thing, and I just saw like the Sonnet 4.5 thing there. I didn't even see the actual release, but I just saw it on the actual Claude.ai. Did you see that?
yeah. I also saw a YouTube video of like they tried to recreate Claude.ai with Claude 4.5.
Yeah, I know
And
I saw that video as well, different models, and it kept on showing that the earlier models couldn't do coding. It wasn't that good, and then 3.5 could get it, but not completely. And then 4 could get it, and 4.5 got it like
um,
completely.
so like I was very excited regarding the Claude model, but did you hear about the GLM series of models?
Slightly. I haven't heard any details about it. I've heard about it.
I think GLMZ, I mean, I may be wrong. It's GLM 4.6 or something, model name.
Mm.
It's a open weights model, and it is on par with Claude 4.5, I think, 4 or 4.5 in coding benchmarks.
Oh, wow.
And that's not it. It is the cost is almost $0.3 or something. Sorry, maybe $3 to $12 output token. And
Mm.
so that amount of difference with agentic capabilities better, like I mean, at least some people are claiming that it is better than Claude 4. So that is like another scoop of the whole thing.
I'm excited to see if people actually start using it in replacement of Claude, and if it's better. I want to see like people doing more projects with it, see how it actually
Yeah,
performs.
I saw a lot of people like actually try it out, and the thing is that this model is like the company is like offering it as a service like an API with the price like $6 per month or something for that much like
Do you know what the
requests.
pricing is on that though? For like the million, like per million tokens, like how
Yeah,
much?
I think uh that is around $3. Let me actually just check on.
Not bad, not like really bad, but not really, really cheap as well.
Yeah,
Because,
but like.
but obviously
Hmm.
it's the same level as 4.5, so they can't make it really, really cheap. But then
Yeah.
again, you
Oh,
could
no,
also
no.
just host it
Actually,
yourself. Yeah, you could host it yourself if you really want. Like,
sorry, the GLM 4.6 is currently being offered for $3 a month.
oh, that's really cheap. Yeah.
$3
And
a
if it's
month.
like,
It's
and if
like,
it's the same performance as 4.5, then why not just use that, right? Yeah.
yeah, like and the thing is like it's fully open source. So, I mean, people can actually use it to fine tune it, like, even more. So,
Mm. I
I'm
know
like very excited
OpenAI
about
and
that.
Claude do have the fine-tuning thing. We had to go to their dashboard and actually,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think Sora 2 also got released this week.
yeah. So, oh yeah, right. It completely blew over everything because Claude was like pumping out YouTube videos left and right
Yeah.
every single day, and then OpenAI just puts a big video generated entirely or at least partly by Sora to
Hmm.
announce itself. And I
Yeah,
think earlier, I don't know if any of our audience got like the video, but OpenAI did put out a video with Sora. But if anybody caught it, in that video, they did include a couple Sora invite codes hidden inside the video. I believe Friday was the FRIYAY was the code that they put throughout the video, and it seems to work for multiple people. So
really?
it seems like a general release that they're disguising as like different hints throughout the video, but if you put in FRIYAY, you'll now get access to Sora 2, and that's regardless of whether you're Sora, like, or if you're like the Pro Plus free, any of
Mhm.
those.
I mean, I saw that how they are also creating an app for like a TikTok feed app. Uh,
Yeah, I know. I downloaded that as well, but it's literally just like TikTok that has the For You page and like everything. So they've pretty much created the clone of TikTok. But not
yeah,
everyone's a
like,
big fan because it's all AI generated content, like completely
yeah,
through and through.
yeah. I mean, I
But
think, yeah, go
I
ahead.
can see where they're coming from though, because I remember going on like the original Soros website and you could just scroll through like the feed of like other people's
Yeah,
generated content. That was pretty cool. But I think that was more images that they put there. They didn't really put a whole lot of videos on like the original Sora thing on the main page. It was mostly just the images, which I'm curious why they didn't choose to do that. Like create a clone of Instagram with like Sora's images instead of
but
TikTok with Sora's
the
video. But I mean,
the
Sora's meant
thing,
for like videos, so
yeah,
that makes
and the
sense.
thing is that it has like total like a social media platform. You can, I think,
Yeah,
DM people.
you can direct message, you can follow people, you can and then you can
Yeah,
cameo, which is a main feature.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, they are going on a totally different direction with it, right? Like creating like
I think
a
they just want more
TikTok feed.
adoption of like Sora. That's why they're trying to go through this so that people have know what it is and like what it can do. Because not many people really know about it, right? So they just want like people to be that creating like a clone makes it very aware because then everybody's like, oh, they created a TikTok clone and then they like they explore it. So
Yeah, but like, do you think people actually want to scroll on fully AI generated videos?
I think it's more of a gimmick, honestly. I do not think it's a
Yeah.
real like something OpenAI genuinely expected to like come across as like a TikTok like alternative.
Mm,
I don't think that's what the intention was. I think it was more like how Claude has Claude Imagine now as like a gimmick or like a an experiment, like how all these AI companies try like to throw around the word
mm,
experiment. It's an OpenAI
mm,
experiment that they're trying to see how the reaction is and like that sort of thing. Plus also like just trying to get people to like use Sora and like see what it can do, its capabilities. I
yeah.
think it's an experiment, which is also why I believe that they haven't released it completely, at least officially, as generally accessible, except through that like secret code they put around like the video. If you, yeah, except for that code. It's still technically under invite code, but under like you have to get the code and like then only you have to put it in. But yeah, I think it's another experiment like Claude Imagine, which is another experiment that I think I shared in the Slack. I don't know if it has been a couple of days. They said it was only going to be up for, I think, 5 days. Let me check right now to see if it's still there. I believe they removed it recently though, because it was supposed to be only there for 5 days for Claude Max users.
Really? But
It's
I also saw that pop up like for me also, and I'm not a Cloud Max
yeah.
user.
I mean, they might have. I think it's the Pro and that. Oh, interesting. So it looks like they haven't. Deleted Claude Imagine because it's still there. And I believe I checked it
Yeah.
earlier and it's been more than, I think either today is the fifth day or it's been a little bit more than 5 days. Because they made it very clear in their announcement that it was only going to be for, when you click on that, you go here, then it's Imagine with Claude. Ask Claude to make interfaces on the fly
Okay, on the
and
screen, your
explore
screen is
prompts.
still a bit loading. It's a bit
Yeah,
frozen.
let me, oh, let me stop sharing and then reshare. Maybe not. But yeah, you should be able to see it now. But yeah, it says
Oh
Imagine
yeah.
with Claude. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically generating the interface. I at first I couldn't quite see the like what it was actually trying to show us because like I thought, oh, this could just be easily done with regular Claude, but I think they're trying to show the speed of Sonnet 4.5, just the pure speed which is able to
Really?
generate that, and also like it being able to generate. It says generating interfaces. I don't know if you're able to hear it, but I think I'm not
Mm.
sharing the computer sound, but it did just have like a little wake up chime. I think it's like a homage to like Windows Vista or something like that, where it's like that startup sound.
Okay,
Or
so why am I seeing there like icons of Claude Code,
yeah,
Claude,
I don't know.
Crash?
They're like this. I think they're trying to emulate like a dashboard, like the Mac OS like the home screen or the
Hmm.
Windows home screen, right? Or the desktop, sorry, that you can see like the different application icons. I'm not sure why they have because for example, if you click on Claude, this is what will pop up if you guys can see it. Yeah,
Hmm. I
it's like a
mean,
little animation thing. I think either it's generating right now or it's most likely pre-gen. I feel like it's pre-generated, but um, it's like some sort of arcade thing. I've never actually clicked on that. I clicked on the Claude code and trash and everything, but it looks like, and you can see right now, it's looking at like what I'm doing, and it's saying user clicked on the Claude app. And it's keeping track of context
oh,
here. I don't know if you can see, but it's keeping track of the context. It says like, oh, I've used this percent of my context. Open artifact. And then I think they just pre-generated this artifact here, which is pretty much just the same thing as like um the dinosaur game on like Google Chrome.
hmm,
Where and then I think they've tried to make this little icon the icon for Claude Code because on the new VS Code extension, they've made that like pretty much the logo of like Claude Code. I'm assuming
really?
some random employee at like Anthropic was like, yeah, I like drawn this up. This looks pretty cool for like the logo. Let's use this. Because it seems like it came out of nowhere, like the logo. Like before, they just called it Cloud Code with no real logo. And now they've created like a whole mascot almost for Cloud Codes. Yeah, it's
Oh,
interesting to
okay.
see.
But have you used Claude on like iPhone, like app?
Lately, no, but I have used it before, but that was when it was like Claude 3.5 and like a whole like
Uh,
generation of Claude
there's
earlier.
an there's an update that I'm not sure if you're aware of, but now Claude can actually interact with other apps on your iPhone.
Oh, it's almost like how on the Claude for Mac and ChatGPT for Mac, they both can access like the
Yeah,
apps locally.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because ChatGPT hasn't done
So
that on mobile. It's only
so
Claude now.
yeah. So what has happened was that I tested it like once. So what I did was I told it to go ahead, check my calendar if I have anything like free and block like a time of like 2 hours in next 1 week for doing this and this and going here. It actually went, opened my calendar, created that event there, and even like told me, and it was like a seamless experience. And I was like amazed at that.
I might
That was
try
like
that
literally,
later. I might try that later just to see what it can do. Because it'd be
yeah,
useful. Imagine like you have like some meetings or something like that, and let's say like you can act as your agent almost. Whatever we were trying to do back in like
yeah,
2015 with like agents or like with the smart assistants trying to like manage your calendar and everything. It can now be
yeah,
actually possible with actual accuracy. Because back then, I think people were trying to do it, but it never, no one like assistant actually got it 100%
mm,
correct all the time or it kept on messing up, like doing the wrong thing. So now I
yeah.
think with this, I'm curious. I don't know if you heard about it way earlier, but Alexa Plus, the new like Alexa, it it's supposed to use like AI a little bit more actual AI and less like assistant AI, or
You mean more
traditional AI.
generative AI?
Yeah, more generative and less like traditional AI that it
Mm,
used to use. I'm not sure. I think it is, but it's Amazon. I think it's still under beta as of right now. But I'm curious if they're using like Claude or something like that behind the scenes, is because I
yeah,
know Amazon has an investment in Anthropic, so
yeah.
most likely they are. But I'm curious if that'll make like Alexa Plus better. If it now it has
I
like
mean, I think,
4.5, it can like access, and if you connect
mhm.
your accounts and everything, maybe I'm curious to see
I
like
think
if
like if if Alexa can actually take actions like
like
as
actual
you tell
real
it.
actions, not like the demo, like, oh, send a text for this, like the
Yeah.
actual like
Like
day to
yeah,
day.
if it can
Yeah.
like take real actions and how Claude is also like attached to your mobile now and it can take actions on
Yeah.
your app. If Alexa can somehow, contact that and actions can be taken on your phone, then it will become like a next level thing. Like
Because I think,
how
yeah, I think right now all the Alexas that are currently sitting as either doorstops or home
yeah,
decor can finally become like a real use case for,
yeah.
because I think before
Like
people used it, and then it died down because Alexa kind of got a little bit discontinued, a little bit. Like the first generation kind of got discontinued, and then it's like, oh, I don't really get support for that, and then they can't really do anything anymore because yeah, but even use it there, so you don't really need to like use a physical device. You can even just use Claude Code on your phone with the voice mode and just tell it, okay, I want to have a meeting scheduled, and it'll, go and do that. So,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
mean,
one
I'm
more
like
thing I wanted to
really like,
show on
yeah.
Claude Code is the new extension here that you can see on VS Code. They've updated it. It's no longer like terminal really. They have a terminal if you want to. If you still want the terminal experience, you can still get it very much. And often I do use the Mac OS terminal and use it. I very rarely, surprisingly, even use the VS Code way of doing it. And here
Really?
they made it look they've added more UI and UX to like this um and you can type like make a tool to recover MP4 files. As I was trying to recover some MP4 videos earlier, and it kept on saying like the quick view kept on saying, "Oh, I can't open it," and some like sketchy website says like, "Oh, I can fix it for you," but I don't trust it. And one, it requires you to pay for like getting the actual. It fixed it, but it's like, "Oh, no, no, no! Now pay me to get the actual file." Like I can only give you a preview for free. So like here, for
Oh,
example, here, let it go. You see how now it looks almost like Claude on like the Claude.ai. It looks very, very similar.
mm-hmm.
It also looks like Kira and like all those other tools that had more of a UI to it. They made it look more like that. And look, you can see the to-dos look a little bit better. I mean, it still looks kind of like the terminal, but a little bit more UI was added to it to look a little bit nicer. And now you just click this button if you want to cycle through the different modes. And this button will easily let you scroll through all the commands. I mean, you can see a little bit mix of, I think they didn't fix some of this stuff, so it still looks a little bit weird, but all the commands are right here. You can add files, mention files. And then you see now it's like already generating something, and now it asking me, okay, do you want it? Okay, sure, we'll click yes. But yeah, this is the new Claude Code sort of extension. I already had it downloaded. They just made an update to it. So if anybody wants to actually be able to use this version, you need to update your Claude Code extension. And this is the new update. And as usual, you can just go down here and use the regular terminal if you want. But they've updated this. Before it, all it did was open up a new terminal and pre-put like Claude, pre-input Claude, and that would just open up Claude code there. But now they've added
Mm-hmm.
real functionality to it, real UI to the extension. But I don't know
Yeah.
many developers would really care that much about it. Maybe people who aren't familiar with CLI or aren't familiar with something like how the CLI looks, maybe. But I think
I
more
mean,
most developers
mhm.
don't really care that much about it. They already know
I
like how
I was
to.
actually trying to use this with like Bedrock API key, but it like you need to initialize it every time. That's why I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's like no, not very usable for me if I want to use Bedrock API keys.
Mm. And
I'm not sure
yeah,
if that has like changed now.
I know that they've also added some other things like checkpoints.
Hmm.
Um where it's like how video game checkpoint, whenever you get to a good spot, it like saves it almost. They've
Mm-hmm.
added that naturally into Claude as well. So it can save it whenever it's at like a good state and it's like, okay, everything's working, let's check it in, let's do all that. And on the topic of checking and stuff for the GitHub, before I always had Claude use Git as in like rudimentary Git, not even GitHub. I had it use Git, which is like the most rudimentary way of like of storing code and like checking into GitHub, which would always check in stuff as Karthik and then like quotation marks as like how Git does usually. And that is very rudimentary. You can't check who actually checked stuff in because it will just check in with the generic name and no profile picture or anything. But I found GitHub, despite it having the GitHub app and everything, all of that stuff is not the best for using GitHub with Cloud Code. Using the GitHub CLI is the best. The CLI is just the best for Cloud Code to use. Not Git, not like the GitHub app that's built in, nothing like that. The GitHub CLI works the best with Cloud. It asks you to authenticate once, like, okay, just tell me like which account you're using. And then from then
Mm-hmm.
on, it'll start committing stuff with like your username and it'll co-author Claude, obviously, because it's doing, it's probably been like trained on like, okay, make sure to co-author all the code that you've written. So it always makes sure to co-author
Oh,
itself in there. So yeah, and I found it interesting. I was working on a project. I was just making a simple game called like Lang Rush or whatever to see if it could make a game where you could recognize like languages as quickly as you can. Like it'll give you a sample sentence in the language and you have to guess like what language it is. Let me show that
mm-hmm.
game that I made, but I made it using Claude Code, and then as soon as I checked it into GitHub, the Q developer bot that I had added from like a while ago fired up and like started checking the code for like different errors and everything. And then it was
Okay.
interesting to see both of them working together almost. Like one was checking in the code and the other one was like just checking if there's any like security
Oh,
bugs or anything like that. And then it kept on like checking that. So like as I was doing it, Claude, I was using 4.5, I think, when I was doing this. So let me show like exactly what was the result put together and how Claude was able to generate good enough UI too. I gave it like an example from like Pinterest or something, or like Dribble or something like that, and it was able to generate the UI almost like that. So it's more capabilities of like 4.5. I think I have it here. Yeah, I ended up hosting it on Vercel because I just wanted to see what Vercel. I never used Vercel before. So first time using Vercel,
okay.
I wanted to see what it could do. And it was pretty simple. Like Claude Code was able to format everything for Vercel and directly pull it from GitHub and everything worked pretty good. Let me share my screen. There we go. Okay. You can see this. And this UI was generated based off of like some Pinterest dribble, like some game had this UI. So
Hmm.
I just told it, here's some screenshots of how it looked like in the game. Replicate how it looks like, but for this one. And let's say we
It
put
looks pretty
in,
fine. At least this way.
okay, now let's see which game mode. And it also added a leaderboard. No top players yet. Let's say we wanted the Zen mode. And let's say we wanted easy difficulty. Now, I don't know if this is, okay. This we're definitely gonna be, oh, that's actually right. Okay. Yeah, but like here it keeps track of the score up here. It generated this progress bar to look like how the UI
Oh.
looked. And I asked it to add these, which is like the pause. And notice how all the colors are also accurate too. Though it's also very accurate to what I used. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm actually seeing this. It looks very polished. It doesn't look like,
and
very
yeah,
much. Hmm.
I struggled to find something that like it didn't do good in the. I mean, maybe some things like this little star in the game, it was a lot bigger to make it look a little bit better in the UI, but that's very, very minor. Everything else was pretty much the same. So it's definitely getting better at replicating UI. The earlier Claude models, I can confirm that they did not do it as good.
Hmm.
They kept on making errors, or like maybe this font would be off by a little bit, or like I even found the right font and used it. It's able to like that capability was really shown here.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then you can
So,
like click
do you
leave
think,
and
would
yeah.
you say that the 4.5 is way better than the Claude 4 model?
I think it's seen some improvements though, because it's better, it's way better at coding, it's definitely better at for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And it's
also
better at
used it.
UI. UI is the one place where I've seen it be a little bit better at replicating UI and essentially taking that gap of like you having to go in and fix some things is a little bit not there anymore. You can just give it the UI that you're
Oh,
looking for.
I remember. Actually, Google launched one MCP called Web Dev Tools MCP. So
Mm.
how it happens is like whenever you are trying to run a web app, you have to go to console log, check all the logs,
Yeah,
check
yeah,
network and
yeah.
everything to see if everything is working or not. Now
Hmm.
using that MCP, if you create a rule or something that whenever you are done with the coding, just run it once and it can actually run the application and see the logs. And then because in the logs, it can see if some error is happening or not. It can go ahead and try to fix that and check again. So now instead of you being the person who has to check the console logs to see what is happening, the AI can automatically see where the error is coming from and use console logs as a base. And it's not just that. All the web dev tools that Chrome has, how padding and how to check the overlap overlink problem, everything can be seen by the AI models now. So I'm thinking it will make the life a
And
lot easier while developing web apps.
and especially with Claude's extension, I don't know if you saw, Claude has a Chrome extension where it can now do essentially what Gemini could do for a while in Chrome once they added it in, and what
Oh,
Comet can do, essentially
really?
agentic browsing, which has been a
I haven't
topic on
seen.
our podcast earlier. Now, if I can find it here, I think it's somewhere here. Claude, it's Claude. It might be this. Maybe. Oh, no, this is Claude code. Here, let me just search it up. Claude Chrome extension. And I think there it is, piloting Claude for Chrome. And this is one of their sort
Okay.
of PR releases. And we view browser using AI as inevitable. And this is going to be a Claude extension for Chrome use where trusted users, again, trusted users means you've been on the waiting list. There is a waiting list still.
Oh.
Um, can instruct Claude to take actions, and they've sort of applied it with 1,000 max plan users. I have joined the wait list. Um,
Hmm.
as can everybody who's watching this. They can just go to Anthropic's sort of blogs, and it says, yeah, we'll gradually expand it to we can develop safer measures, just so that people can't like do nefarious things with it.
Hmm.
But they have like a little demo here. And basically, this is how it looks like, where it's like a sidebar chat, almost like how Gemini has now as well. In
Hmm.
Chrome, they've added this pretty much, and it can do it. I think there isn't any music in this, so you
Really?
should
I
be
haven't
able to.
seen this Gemini
Let me.
part.
Uh, I don't know if we're able to full screen it. I
I
guess
mean,
not. Okay.
research preview was like available with Gemini had
Yeah,
that
look now,
for
almost
a
like how
while.
it is in VS Code, they have added Claude right here. So you just click on Claude, it opens like a research thing. You just type in that. So I think they do show. I don't know if they show anything in here. Yeah, they do. Okay. It's a little bit hard to see in the small screen, but you see how it's able to like go through and it's
Hmm.
actually doing stuff. So it's definitely a
Yeah.
competitor for like
I mean, have you seen
Perplexity.
like Perplexity's comment is also now like I think publicly available
Yeah, but
for
that one's
everyone to use.
publicly, yeah, publicly available. Yeah,
Mm.
I've tried it out. It's okay, but it still requires you to go to the website and then say like what you wanted. It's a little bit clunky. It's not as hands off as
Mm.
they demoed it to be. Let's just say that. Like
Oh.
as I expected it to be, it's not as hands off as I expected. So
Mm.
it's I wouldn't say it's the end all be all for agentic browsers. There definitely is a large gap that any company, even a startup, could fill. But I think Claude has a good chance because so many people are working off of Chrome, even though in my opinion, Chrome sucks because it takes up all your memory. Unless you have a
Uh,
big, beefy like
but
computer that's able to run it really quickly and also run all other applications, you can only really run Chrome. But since so many people already have it, they of course they started,
yeah,
with that. But
and
this makes it
I
so
think
easy. Yeah.
how like all the other browsers also use Chromium as its like base.
Yeah,
So I
so
think that
any
makes it.
browser really, except
Mm.
Safari, maybe Safari, Firefox, those
Yeah.
can't. But even Perplexity, if you really wanted to, you could add Claude Code as an extension, te
Oh,
theoretically, into
really?
Perplexity. If it's running Chromium, I think I believe, there's no way they
Yeah.
created their own like sort of engine and like started from
Yeah, I also
scratch. They
think that.
probably
Yeah.
started from Chromium because it's easier. They don't have to spend millions on
Yeah.
like developing that. So.
Yeah, true, true. Hmm.
I'd be curious, so it'd be interesting to see someone using Claude Code's thing on Perplexity while using Perplexity, just
Yeah, I
comparing
mean,
all of
it
them in
would be a
one
good
area.
comparison for sure.
And in that case, you could even add Gemini into it and have all three, like how you're
Yeah.
having all the CLIs into one area, you can have all that into one.
Yeah.
And yeah, and and speaking of which, for like the having multiple CLIs in one area, Cursor has made some advancements in that. Speaking of
Oh
which,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
Cursor has kind of been like hidden away for a while. Like, oh, people have started abandoning it. Oh, it's not good. You
Oh
just go to the
really?
model. Well, at least what my point of view has been like, oh, it just said kind of pretty much abandoning Claude. I mean, that's like if you can't
Yeah.
spend the money on like Claude Code or something like better for development, that's when you go to Cursor and you use their things. Or if you
You
want
know,
more access for like more models, then you
so
go there.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you know this, like so like you know how VS Code has models, how
Yeah, yeah, the agents,
Cursor has yeah.
yeah, the
So
agents.
now the ability is almost similar
And
in both
the
of these
difference is
IDs.
that if you're a student, you don't have to pay for any of it. Because if you have
Yeah.
a student, you
So
can sign up for the GitHub Developer
so
Pack
the
and get all of it. Yeah.
so the thing is, I saw an MCP. It's called Byte over or something. Yeah, byte memory. So what it does is, so you know how when you are using multiple IDs on the same project, because you know your tokens are finished for one of the IDs, what you can do is you can use that MCP to link up, so all of the memories are preserved
Wow.
across different IDs.
Oh, so you can start with one model and one ID and then be like, oh, no, I don't, I actually want to go to Cursor. I don't want.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
like
think
you
Arun
know,
was talking about that earlier to see if there's like somebody who's doing that where it's like you can go across IDs and across models and still keep the same context throughout. That'll be very helpful for developers who don't want to be stuck to one. Like, let's say you start in
yeah,
Claude Code, you want to be able to move around. Like, let's say Claude
yeah,
Code
yeah,
gets too
yeah,
expensive, which it will if you're not using the subscription, it will get very, very expensive.
yeah,
So you want to be able to move around. Yeah, because especially when
yeah,
certain models are better at certain languages and certain like
yep,
specific coding use cases, it's gonna be really interesting. Yeah.
yeah. That's
And
why I was like very much amazed with this. Like I was like, oh man, okay, this is pretty cool.
yeah, and then this is the CLI I was talking about from Cursor,
Oh,
built to help
okay.
you ship right from your terminal. And you can choose any model you want.
Mm.
And it looks essentially like how, how Codex looks, how Gemini CLI looks, how Claude Code looks.
Yeah.
Every one of them looks pretty much the same, but the difference here is you can choose different models. With the other ones, it's provider specific. Like if you choose
Hmm.
Claude Code, it has to be one of the Claude models. If you choose Codex, it has to be one of the OpenAI models. If you choose Gemini, it has to be one of the Gemini, like one of the Google models. So yeah, this is interesting, and I'm curious to see if like more of these companies like how I think Windsurf is another company that like does pretty much the same thing as Cursor. But I don't see really the point in multiple companies coming out with the same thing. But
Mm.
I think it gives developers more of a versatility. They can
Yeah, and I
choose
think
between,
competition is better, you know?
yeah. But I don't know. Windsurf has kind of gotten into like it's I don't know. I feel like Cursor and Windsurf kind of gotten forgotten recently with like more updates from the provider companies themselves. Like these companies that are providing more models underneath one product I feel like in my perception, I don't know about you, Lebanese, but I feel like there's gotten like socially like just forgotten almost like oh like they were a big thing like
But
months
I've
ago,
been
then now
using,
yeah.
see, I've been using the IDs more than the terminals or even, you know, the official extensions and everything.
I think from my point of view, I've been using more of the dev from the providers themselves, what they've been offering rather than like the IDs. But I have been
Mhm.
using the Microsoft thing we're talking about. So if there are any students watching, you can just sign up for GitHub Developer Student Pack and it's free, completely free. Just put in your student ID and you get it. And when the next time you log into VS Code, you can access all the models. It gives you access to all the latest models and it doesn't charge you anything. It's completely free for unlimited use.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a cheat code almost to like developing. You can make any app or any product that you want for free. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
you see out here, yeah, they show all the different models, Sonnet. I believe they added Sonnet 4.5 recently.
Yeah.
So
What do you think about the 4.1 Opus now? I think it's like it didn't get a new update, right? Like
no,
the
no, that's still the
4.5
old
Sonnet
one.
got the update.
But
Hmm.
4.5 Sonnet's good for like 99% of tasks. The other one is only good
Yeah,
for
that's what
like
I'm like thinking.
really, really
Like,
big projects or like projects where you have a ton of context. I would recommend not using Opus 4 for the most part. Like it's not really that useful because you're going to run out of
yeah.
context sooner. It's going to be way, way more expensive if you're using like from the API. So,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
I think
then,
Opus is now like a model that I don't think it makes like, like I mean, I think in very rare cases it might make sense to use
oh,
that.
interesting. Um, yeah, so you guys see you can use it in any ID, of course, because it's in yeah, there.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, headless CLI. Okay, yeah. And of course here you can just install it using like this command, which is very similar to how you can install, Cloud Code and all of them. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Okay,
interesting to
pretty
see a new
nice.
CLI.
Yeah.
Uh, let me see. I think there was some other. Oh yeah, right. I think the last thing that I saw was the Lovable cloud.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I only saw it because I was trying to. Well, I have stopped using Lovable for a while because I stopped paying for like the Lovable Premium or whatever. 'Cause it just stopped using it ever since Cloud Code came out. I've been using like that with the subscription rather than Lovable.
Hmm.
But again, great tool for people who don't have a lot of experience with coding or don't have a lot of experience with backend or like front end coding, especially because front end a lot of people don't know, but they know backend. And they've
Hmm.
introduced Lovable Cloud, so think I'm just going to show it directly from our Slack here, but Lovable Cloud, they've updated some of the backend stuff with, authentication and more of the backend logic.
Hmm.
And this essentially, it lets you add all the AI models. That's the main thing. AI models out of the box. Add
Hmm.
LLM to your app. And it says Google models will be free until October 5th. So most likely by the time this episode gets published, this will be over. But as of time of
Yeah.
recording on October 4th, it is still available for the next like 24 hours almost.
Hmm. I didn't I didn't think that Lovable will, go into the cloud space. But I mean, I think the money is
It
there.
makes sense. It makes
And
sense though,
yeah.
because if people want like uptime and that sort of thing, and if people are using it for actual products, it makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
And
Hmm.
notice this free to start, pay as you scale.
Hmm.
You can start free and you can just pay for what you need. It sounds very similar to another cloud service that been around since 2012. Pay as you go,
Yeah. Yeah.
AWS, right?
True.
So it's interesting because now you
Yeah.
can theoretically, if you wanted to host an app, you can use AWS without using AWS because you can use this, and if you really wanted to, you could host anything on Vercel, which at the bottom uses AWS. So
Yeah.
you're
I mean, there's a
indirectly
whole
paying
industry.
AWS.
I
There's
mean,
so
there's a
the whole
whole
industry
industry.
above AWS, but below like the users that are actually using it. It's interesting. Now there's less companies
Yeah.
going directly to AWS and more companies going through Versa. But I'm curious if they themselves are hosting this privately or if they're using like Google Cloud or AWS or I'm
I mean,
curious. I haven't done a whole lot of
obviously.
research. I doubt
I
they
think
they themselves. Actually, let me do a
this is
quick
more of a like,
search.
this is more of a flavor of like, software on top of existing cloud platforms. No one is going to build their own like, infrastructure again from
Yes,
scratch because
yes,
that
yes,
costs a lot.
yes, it's true. Yes, Lovable uses Amazon Web Services as part of its cloud
Yeah.
infrastructure for that. And it
Yeah.
provides the built-in backend for the so-called Lovable
Yeah.
cloud. So AWS is underneath that. So they
Yeah.
still have a footing in
All
there.
of these companies, so there's a whole industry to not interact with AWS directly. There's a whole industry
Interesting.
for that. Yeah,
I'm
because
surprised
I
that,
think
I
developers
mean,
don't want to do that.
plus also, I think that, again, we're not associated with AWS at all. I guess in this podcast, at least, we're not associated with AWS, but um, I've seen like I was trying to push something to Amplify earlier and it was like really, really bad. Then when I found Vercel, I was like, oh wait, I can just upload it directly from GitHub and then publish it here itself. And maybe
Yeah,
yes, I have to
like
pay like maybe I'll have to pay like a $20 a month if I want the private. like hosting, like all that stuff, which is fine. Like I expect that. Like I'm not gonna expect to get it for free, but like it is a nice layer. I was like, oh, this is nice. Now I don't have to worry about like having to debug that. I mean, yes, I'm using AWS underneath the thing, which means I still get the guaranteed like uptime. Like there's still a good like backend infrastructure, but I don't have to directly interface with that, which is good. And I think that's why companies
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Vercel and everything are really,
yep,
booming, right? So
yep, yep.
definitely. What have you seen other than what we've like sort of discussed so
No,
far?
no, this is all what I have seen. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything
I
more
think one
than
more
that.
thing is Bolt. They also to compete
Hmm.
with Lovable. Lovable is also upping their thing, and then Bolt also has to be competition, right?
I
Because
mean,
they're
yeah,
in direct competition. One is more business focused, like core business
really.
focused, and then one is more like I've seen that divide. Like Bolt seems like the more like low code, like you don't like I don't know coding at all, and I want to develop something. Versus Lovable is more like okay, I know a little bit of coding, but not a whole lot. I know a little bit of
Hmm.
coding. I've experimented with it slightly, but I don't know a whole lot. So I'm not gonna go to Claude Code, but I'm still gonna like I still want to use AI
Hmm.
to develop it. But Lovable, they announced like a on Twitter, I think, on like a new introducing Bolt V2, and it uses the agents. It has Claude Code built into it, which is interesting.
Hmm. Really.
Yeah, let me show you
So they are offering
the
Claude Code as a
post.
service kind of thing.
Pretty much any Claude Code, Gemini, all of them are in there. So it's
Hmm.
interesting. Now you can whether you use Cursor CLI or yeah, you can yeah, let me show one sort of one second, let me exit this. I'm not sending it to that. One little thing is that I don't know why they added this, but they added readers, added context. They themselves added that, which is weird. Um, and many people noted that in the real readers added context, that like their marketing team added that, which is a little bit weird. I noticed that when I was looking at this post. Their marketing
Okay.
team tried to like make that a little bit weird there, but there's a video by their founder here where they directly talk about Lovable, Replit, and Vercel, which is some of their competitors. Because Replit now also has like the same like we talked about it
Hmm.
a couple months ago, but you see like the world's best agents, Cloud Code, Codex, built-in backend, like how Lovable now has with the built-in backend with hosting and storage and like authentication, that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
They don't have a lot here or there, but the first thing they put on this was today vibe coding goes pro.
Okay.
So, and then they have a thing right here where it says Claude Code, CLI, Gemini CLI. I don't know if you saw that a little bit ago.
Hmm.
Use interface. Introduce use
They
interface.
claim it's like
Yeah, I'm not sure
combining
if I
Lovable
remember that.
and Claude Code. It's like they claim it's combining those two. So
Okay.
they combine Vibe, which they count Lovable, their competitor, as pure Vibe, and
Introducing
then
Okay.
Gemini and Love and like Claude Code as the Pro, and combining Vibe and Pro, and saying Vibe coding goes Pro. So I don't know if you've heard about that,
Okay.
but I just noticed it. I was trying to use both of those, and then noticed, oh wait, there's something new on both of them. They've both updated to like new versions since
Okay.
the last time that I've used it.
Hmm.
So, and it looks like this wasn't that long ago, September 30th, so not that long ago. Um, anyways, so yeah, that's interesting. All the new updates from it's
Yeah.
interesting to see like the new updates from both the sides where it's like low code, no code, and also like the actual model providers and like the people who are like professionals using it versus
Yeah.
like the low code, no code. There's updates from both sides of the spectrum
Yep.
across like using AI for coding.
Yep.
Interesting.
I think
And
coding is like one of the biggest use cases. I even heard that Gemini 3.0 might be coming this month.
interesting. And maybe we'll see that next time on our podcast. Hopefully we'll be able to see it and maybe one of us will be able to like experiment with it. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's
Another
see.
thing is that I also seen recently I started teaching on schoolhouse.world, again not sponsored, but just a free place where you can teach students and you can learn from other students of like different topics. And I started teaching. there was a how to recreate ChatGPT course that was on there a little bit ago, just like recreating the
Recreate
front end,
ChatGPT.
like the front end of like
Oh,
that sort of thing, and like how to recreate it as in like using the API, like using that sort of thing. And I've never seen anyone do an AI course on it. I was like, there's no way anybody would join this course if I put Intro to Artificial Intelligence. There's no way. Like, there's so many like anti-AI people. There's no way. Like, I got to do something like Intro to Python or something like that for to even get people to come to my series, right? So I recently
mm,
finished the training for like computer science tutor and everything, and I hosted my first session yesterday, intro to AI, and I was like, yeah, there's no way anybody's gonna come. Then I see like three, four people come in, and like some people were like, oh, so sorry I missed the course. I was really interested in like this topic of like learning AI. Could
okay,
you please
really?
send the slides and everything from the session? And like people were like, "Oh wow, I didn't notice that they had this on schoolhouse.world." Like I saw like a overwhelming amount of people that were like interested. I was like, "Wow, I've been sleeping under like a rock almost. I've been under a rock with like the people in my school and generally around me and my age have been like, oh, anti-AI." I've never really seen the other side of the spectrum where it's like kids that are actually interested. I've never really seen that because I've always thought like, oh, the rest of us kind of like more anti-AI and like, oh, it's bad, it's for cheating. That's sort of been the general sentiment I've seen, but I've seen like a brand new view almost of like students who are like, wow, I didn't notice that there was even AI on schoolhouse.world. And wow, I'm really interested. Oh, I missed the course. Can you send the slides? Like it was really interesting to see. And again, just to
Mm,
mention, schoolhouse.world is one of the non-profit, it's a non-profit that Khan Academy, the Sal Khan, the founder of Khan Academy runs. And it's just generally tutoring people for free on like Zoom, and you can set up like series and teach courses
oh,
for free and high school and get volunteer hours for it. I'm not really doing it for volunteers. 'Cause I already have like way enough volunteers for like all those requirements of school. And I'm more just doing it for the fun of it almost, but just for fun and to help some people. But yeah, it's interesting to see. And they were all very interested. I thought they were like, oh, just joining and like just to see like what it was. But like they were actually interested asking questions like, oh, like how should we be using AI and are we gonna learn more about how to use AI in coding in later sessions? And it's interesting. It doesn't take me that long. I mean, this
mm.
first time it took me a little bit longer to prepare the stuff for the session, but I have a plan. I'm gonna use Tome or like some of these AI generators to or Claude Sonnet 4.5 to generate
Have
the
you
slides for me. So
have you seen a tool called Gemma? Sorry,
I've
Gamma.
s- I know I've seen that like I think JP Morgan invested in them was like a tool to
Oh,
generate
really?
slides or like generate yeah, they're invested like JP Morgan is an investor for them.
Really?
Um
I didn't
and
think. I
they're
thought that was a
in
very small startup.
JP Morgan's AI initiative. Correct me if I'm wrong, this might not be correct, but if I remember the name correctly, it is that company.
Hmm.
Um
I'm not sure,
but
but
yeah,
what I know is that the slides that it creates is very awesome with just one prompt.
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna try out some of those things. But obviously, I don't want to. I love teaching that, like, and I love like teaching it to like people who are really interested in it and everything. And it's kind of fun now. I've figured that out. But obviously, the first slides I made it by hand on Canva with like the nice theme, and I tried even using the Claude like branding or like I tried using like the colors just because it looks really good and like aesthetic and everything. But it took forever
Hmm.
to generate like the slides because I was generating
Yeah,
it
that's
by
why.
hand. But
Yeah,
I think
that's why I'm
I
like,
think right
if
now
you,
I'll be using
mm,
AI to generate the slides. Yeah.
yeah, that's why you should use Gamma as a first draft, to create everything looks visually good. Then just, put your content in it.
Is it free? Like, do they have like a free
I think
trial
so.
or is it like
I
okay? I
think
might
so.
try it out. Maybe see the results
Yeah.
next podcast.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's interesting to see all these advancements in AI and the enthusiasm. I've never seen this enthusiasm. And Schoolhouse.world isn't limited to the United States, it's worldwide. So I'm assuming a lot of some of these students, I think, I mean, I'm not gonna disclose the location, but like some of them are, let's just say like they're not in the United States. There are like more students around the world that go to Schoolhouse.world. So it's interesting to see like
Mm.
I think maybe here in the US, maybe that like students are very anti-AI, but it looks like around the world, students are getting
I
warmed up to
think there
more
is a whole
AI use.
spectrum of people. I think there's a whole spectrum of people everywhere.
Yeah,
But
but I think mainly in, like the US, I've seen like foreign through and through. Some schools are really good at using AI. Some are really, really bad at using AI. In the terms that they just ban it right out. They're like, okay, no
Yeah, I
AI.
mean,
We're
it's
not gonna
like
really bother with. But we should be
I think it's a
teaching like how to
sensitive
use it
topic.
properly. Like we have to
Yeah.
be teaching how to use it properly rather than like flat out like banning it. But I think that's just
Mm,
been the safety measure that schools have used. So that, of course, like obviously to prevent cheating and. But it was interesting to
yeah.
see like people actually interested like are my age that are actually interested in AI and not like like oh it's bad or something like that. So yeah. Anyways, so interesting advancements. We'll get to see more
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
next
Yeah. I think
episode.
this
Yeah.
has been a long one. So
Yeah.
okay. Bye guys.
Right.
See you
Yeah.
next
Bye.
week.
Yeah. See everyone. Bye. Bye.